All right. Okay. I think I'm here. Yep, mic's working. Fantastic. Hope you're ready for up a 3.5. You know what, Bailey? The thing is, yeah, is that every time we've done Monaco now, people are very cautious. So I don't think there'll be any safety cars, to be honest. Fellas, welcome in, whether you're watching live or on replay. Final race night of the season before the big update comes out on Wednesday, where, of course, it's effectively like the update for a new F1. That's the thing. Rather than F1 26 coming out, it's like an expansion pack where the game carries on, but just with all the content being added into the already existing game, which I think is quite a good way to do it. Saves people money and whatnot. So, yeah, maybe more companies will do that. Maybe more games will do that over the course. But, yeah, of course, it's just beginning process here. We're not supposed to be hitting the track for qualifying for another 10 minutes. 9:40 is usually when Michael says that we head out for quali. So, for now, just we can chill out and kind of go from there. I can read my DMs while I'm here as well. Alright, sorry, yeah. FIFA questions every single time. Every time I set up a stream, immediate FIFA questions. You just hate to see it, but it's all good. Alright, it's my... Dude, it is loud in my ears. Holy hell. That's just the volume for me because the capture card is turned down. Cool. Alright, yeah. So, for now, I think as well we'll talk about it a bit more in qualifying, but such a kind of nice thing for Keiran tonight. Doesn't even really need to try in this one, I'm pretty sure. That even without him hitting the grid tonight, he is our Season 4 winner, which, of course, after last week is such a relief for him. I think when you saw the likes of, the big names coming in, when you saw the likes of Dom Parry and you saw the likes of Chissy and you saw Louis Welch coming back, there's every opportunity that he could have slipped, but ultimately, and we will show this when we're in quali, tonight, he heads into the race with a 24-point lead, if I've calculated that correctly. 118 to 94. So 104, 114, 24-point lead. So it would take a disaster for Keiran to effectively walk out of here without the title. If I'm not mistaken, I think, what is it, 25 points for a race win? So, I mean, he's pretty much got it wrapped up. If it is 20 points for a race win, he's already got it wrapped up. So, again, one of the experts have to tell me there, but... No, it's been a phenomenal season for Keiran, and it's not really a surprise. It isn't. You definitely look at this and you say, we always said for Keiran, if he could just keep his composure, if he could just find a way to kind of have those bad moments on the track and have those bad moments on the grid, in the grid, then he could end up kind of, surviving that and keeping his head on his shoulders. He was always going to end up being a champion. It's taken 4 seasons, granted, but I mean, you think about the champions before him, he's been in good company, hasn't he? You think about, the early days of when Com45 was balling out, and you think of Batistuta was kind of balling out with his kind of top 3 finishes, and you go to the most recent history, you talk about Chissy, you talk about Louis Welch, talking about all these kind of phenomenal names. Keiran is in that kind of, bracket now. He is. Use the French flag. It doesn't matter. Who cares? If James didn't get a 10-second penalty, it would have been over 25 for a race win. So he needs 1 point. He needs 1 point tonight. All he's got to do is finish above Chissy. And if he doesn't finish above Chissy, I mean, all he's got to do is finish in the top 10. And he's got it wrapped up. There's no way he can be caught if he finishes with 2 points today. And for Keiran, slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. Even if Keiran finishes outside the top 10... As long as Chissy doesn't win, he's won the title. So it's one of those. Finish 15th, finish 16th today. It doesn't matter if Chissy doesn't win. Could we see one of the greatest comebacks in human history when we talk about maybe Chissy winning the race if Keiran crashes out today? If Keiran crashes out, retires, and Chissy finishes first, he will pip Keiran to the title by 1 point. That would send Keiran's head into literal orbit. It would. It would. Hopefully tonight as well, we'll have Sergio with us for the final time this season as we cross over into Season 5. Season 5, of course, those dates and whatnot, Mike will be releasing those, closer to. We want to just give everyone the opportunity to kind of actually enjoy the F1 update that comes out on Wednesday. But again, full steam ahead, and I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing the Chevrolet and all that kind of stuff, man. The cars. I'm a big fan of the cosmetics of it all. So, yeah, one of those. And the kind of big mystery will be who kind of takes the first of the new seasons on the new update, I guess. I don't know how it's difficult to describe what we're actually going into. A new game, a new update, the same game, a new update. I don't know. It's difficult. I've never been involved in a league on a game where the game isn't released, but it's updated for a year. It's very strange. Don Barry will be very strong around here. He races on wheel. Well, this is the thing I was saying to Bailey before you got here as well. Oh, God. Jesus Christ, it is raining like a motherfucker outside. Wow, that just came out of nowhere. What was I going to say? The thing I was saying to Bailey is, with this track, the thing that has always happened now is that the first season ever we did Monaco, I remember the first season ever we did Monaco, it was a nightmare. People just couldn't get their heads around it. You saw safety cars, you saw pile-ups, you saw everything. But the last couple of times we've done Monaco now, it's very kind of like cautious, very kind of like, oh, you're next to me, after you, by all means, take the position. You know, everyone's kind of friendly. Because I think everyone knows in Monaco, it isn't just about being aggressive, it's just about trying to outlast your opponents. It's one of those. So, yeah. I apologise as well, Keiran, but the sound alerts may not be working. They may be, but I'm not sure. I don't know why you're panicking for. All you've got to do is finish in the top 10 tonight. The only thing that could happen to cost you this title is if you implode, take a bad corner, crash into the wall, retire, and Chissy finishes first. If you end up with 0 points and Chissy ends up with 25 points tonight, he will beat you to the title by 1 point. That would be one of the most incredible things I've ever seen in a VFL F1 season. But ultimately, we know you, Keiran. I think you know yourself as well. Even tonight, if you have a bad corner, a bad lap, 5 bad laps, all you've got to do is finish the race. Because even though I've seen you have crash outs before, I've never seen you, upon recovery, finish lower than 5th or 6th, you know? So it's just about kind of keeping your head on your shoulders. And we do have our race statistician, so I won't invite him as well. I'm just sitting join the lobby as a spectator. Let's pop him an invite. We can talk about Monaco and whatnot today as well. If you get damage, you can stay out. It's so hard to overtake. 100%. You don't really need, like, you know, the brilliance of your car turning fluidly. Because everyone's just so patient. Like I said, I would fear for you lot if it was Monaco of a couple of years ago when people were, you know, just complete head cases around there. But it's very polite. It's very polite. It's very kind of, like I said, after you, no after you type racing. So, yeah. For now, though, we are imminently approaching quali, as we'll be going in at 9:40. There he is. There's our lovable rogue Sergio. Hello, sir. How are we? Are you there?
Good evening.
Oh, there he is. I've missed you last week.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you know how difficult it was for this piece of shit, i.e. Points itself, to kind of carry the broadcast on his own, not knowing all the nerdy bits like you know. I did my best though. I tell you, you wouldn't think last week it was like 35 degrees with the weather now, would you? It's absolutely insane.
I know, yeah. Thunderstorms tomorrow as well.
It's literally, no joke, 2 minutes before you join, it's just hit here out of nowhere. It's just started pissing it down outside. So yeah, it's arrived here already. So yeah. I mean, I don't know how much you've been listening into this, but the title is pretty much wrapped up today. Going into this one, VRL Keiran with a 24-point lead. The only way Keiran chokes the title today, Sergio, if he crashes out, finishes on no points, and Chissy wins this race. So never say never, but it's a big ask, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of just put your feet up for Keiran, really, but if it's a crash out night, then that potentially plays in the hands of obviously every other driver on the field, more or less, in terms of their positioning and points. So, yeah, the main thing is for him to just keep us cool.
Absolutely. I mean, we're going to talk a little bit more about the table and, of course, the really interesting and intriguing team championship, the team constructors, when we get into this qualification period. Dom Barry said, "What's Michael glazing me for? You are one of the greatest of all time, Dom. That's why. Why I got the French flag on your stream? Like, I was panicking. I just literally saw Monaco and put France, and that was it, mate. I just wanted to get on. I wanted to get on in time, so that's fine. I'll take looking like a sausage. It's absolutely fine. I think overall, before we get into this qualification period as well, Sergio, looking back, season 4, season 3, of course, of F120, of F125, 6, whatever we're doing. I'm confusing myself because of this update coming out on Wednesday. But I mean, it has been a really interesting season in terms of just, you know, new beginners coming in, like the Bobby Leons of the world. You saw returning heroes as well, like Louis Welch and Dom Parry. You had the kind of the new, the old. You've had the consistency of, you know, Tiller and whatnot. It's been a very, very... I think it's been the most complete season. We've had a little bit of everything over the course of the last 4 weeks, haven't we?
Yeah, it's one thing that I have to admit, just you mentioned about you getting self confused about next season. One thing I'm really looking forward to is seeing, well, number one, who stays and goes on next season, and two, who can actually deliver a new car, new setup, and everything. One question I did have, I want to ask you this before I forget it, is do we have any idea whether we're going to be filling the grid in terms of going for the 22 or 24 car limit now, or are we still sticking with the 20?
I think that's down to Michael, but I think, dude, I've got such confidence in this league, and I think we've got enough F1 fans, and I think we've got enough people that are interested, that I think Michael will be bold enough to put. I'm not going to force Michael to do it, but I back whatever Michael does. But it wouldn't surprise me if he expands the grid. The other thing you have to kind of really factor in is just to make sure that it is an EA Sports game at the end of the day. If they do increase the size of lobbies and the size of grids online, if it doesn't crash the game or anything, because I've seen some strange shit on EA games before, where a change to the lobby can mean that the matchmaking completely breaks. So I wouldn't say yes or no, but I would say if I know Michael, he probably will expand it a little bit. So I'm excited for that as well. It's very weird. Like I said, it's never been a thing for me where I've stayed on the same game, but like an update comes out and that update is technically the new game. So I mean, from you as an F1 fan, do you like that? Do you prefer not having to buy a brand new game and just getting this update pack? Where are you sitting on that, Sergio?
Well, it's a new concept to games in general. I do like the idea, and to be fair, I'm all for it, especially for the F1 games as well, because I feel a bit of a hypocrite saying this and getting a bit fed up with it when I buy FIFA every year, but
that's true.
I buy F1 every year and the game does not change. It is the same tracks, the same cars, they feel the same. There is no difference. I mean, we've even seen it, what was it, the start of this season or start of last season, where I noticed the graphics in the pit lane still say F1 2011. Like,
really?
The game does not change.
You did. Yeah, I remember you pointed that out. That was,
yeah. So the
game
game doesn't change. So the fact we're getting an update rather than a whole new, you must pay £50 for this brand new game, which is exactly the replica of the previous one. I prefer it. Big time supporter on that. And hopefully that encourages other people to sort of join in on that movement as well. And that might create a movement across the gaming world. Obviously, F1 sort of starting it off, or EA starting it off, if you like. And then progressing just down the big updates, because there's a few other games I know that have done similar aspects, like a few simulator games. They've done the same thing. They bring out the same simulator game every year, and now they're just doing big updates. So it's taken over more and more, and hopefully we'll see that across multiple different.
I agree with you. I think like there is definitely. I think maybe more so. There's more credence to do it with F1 because, like you said, there is such limited change. I feel like with the way that FIFA is marketed, they could always find a way to sway people to go out and buy a new game. But again, it's EA Sports. Whatever they do, it's probably going to be a terrible decision anyway. I hope it's a good decision. I hope that, this up... Because the thing with F1 in particular is in all the kind of years doing leagues, Madden, FIFA, F1, I've seen people with some strange issues with F1 on release usually. I mean, you go back to... I think it was 2 years ago, there was like a big issue that delayed the start. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember there was a big issue at the start of F1 2 years ago where it delayed the start of the league because of something. I think it was some sort of like, not a ghosting issue, or it was some sort of desync or disconnect issue where like for 90% of the races you'd have like the entire grid disconnecting or desyncing and going into their own separate lobbies, and it completely fucked everything up. So I just hope that this upgrade pack is effectively going to be something that doesn't create new bugs, new issues, and we can just kind of seamlessly carry on, because the plan, don't want to ruin and spoil anything here, take Michael's thunder away from him, but from what I understand, the pack comes out on Wednesday. Michael wants to give everyone a kind of like a week and a half to enjoy it, and then we're right back into the new season, next season, on June 22nd. And I like that. I think it's nice. I think it's fast. It gives people a chance to kind of enjoy that kind of upgrade or that update pack, and then we go straight into that kind of comp environment again. Anyway, listen, enough whittering on about the pack and about what's happening when. Michael said green light for qualification, so we are headed to the qualifying grid. Of course, we'll have some more people joining us as their FIFA games conclude, but qualifying here now for the next 18 minutes around Monaco. I mean, it feels kind of fitting. I love Monaco as kind of a neutral, Sergio, but Monaco, final race of the season. The title is kind of like 99% wrapped up, but Monaco would be the track where if some sort of disaster strikes, where Keiran slams into the wall, can't finish, and then Chissy wins and gets first place or win the title by a point. Do you feel like Monaco is like a fitting calendar ender, or do you not like Monaco in general? What are your feelings on it all?
Well, from a neutral point of view, Monaco is a Marmite track. It's you love it or hate it. There's no in between. I'm on the hate it side of things, just because it's not a racing circuit for these size cars. You send smaller vehicles around here, it becomes an amazing circuit. But the F1 cars, unfortunately, are just a little too big, in my opinion. There's some really tight turns in there where you're full lock on the wheel, and you're rolling around at 20 miles an hour, if that, just to try and get around the corner without touching the wall. And to me, that's not racing at all. So I do feel that they're a little too big, but the new cars, obviously, that will come via the new update, I feel they'll be a little better suited because they are smaller, so they will get around the track a little easier. There might be a few more battles as well, but yeah, I feel it's a bit too much of a struggle really for these drivers to enjoy it around the circuit. But like you said, if there's ever a track that's going to cause an upset in the standings, and who has what points, it's going to be this one.
Yeah, and there's already disappointment around the track as Surtees has found out that there is no rain today. He said, no rain, boring, race over. So no rain in Monaco. I mean, where do you sit then in terms of how to approach Monaco? Because I said before, the first season, well, we never did commentary together. This is years ago. Monaco was a graveyard. People would come out in Monaco and it would be pile up after pile up. It would be contact after contact. And obviously, as years go on and, the seasons have gone by, as I said before you got here, it's been very kind of conservative. It's been very kind of, oh, please, you're next to me, after you. By all means, take the position. It's been very safe, very polite racing. Is that the way to approach it in Monaco because of how tight and turbulent it can be, or do you need to be a little bit aggressive at points?
I'd say a healthy balance is probably the right way to go. There's areas you can be aggressive and areas you can't be aggressive. So it's all about just take it as it comes, and assess what's going on in front of you. The key thing that you mentioned was there was a lot of contacts and pile-ups. If I'm honest, I think we'll probably see at least one or two tonight. Don't get me wrong, the drivers have been amazing all season long, but this really does challenge every caliber of driver. And I'm not going to write out, the names of Chissy, Keiran from those collisions. They are well included in what I'm saying here, where I do think we might see some contact or pile-ups, because it just takes one slight slip-up, lapse of concentration, nerves, anything like that, and that's enough to just send it into a wall or, cause a blockade for other cars behind you.
The one thing I'm kind of like sat here wondering, I don't know if there's... I think Don Parry said, Chissy stinks at Monaco, but the better question is Chissy actually here? Is he just delayed? Is he 100% here? Because if Chissy isn't here tonight and he isn't racing Monaco tonight, then obviously Keiran has won the season, because the only person that can catch him by a miracle, is Chissy. So if Chissy isn't here today, if he's opted out of this final race and let one of the subs come in, then obviously VRL Keiran can start doing celebratory laps around Monaco here in quali, but it all comes down to that, really. So I don't know if Dom he's joining in quali, I'm hearing. Okay, so that's fine. He is here then. He's not going to let VRL Keiran get away with it that easy. But yeah, I mean, listen, you say it's a Marmite track. I think absolutely it is. I think, is it fair to say, Sergio, that the people that dislike Monaco are usually the guys that are, and no offense to them here, lower end of the scale when it comes to, IQ in racing? Is this a high IQ track, do you think? Or is this something where you don't need to be the best driver, the best F1 racer, you just got to be patient?
No, I'd say the IQ definitely is a factor. And that's part of the reason I don't like this track. Well, that's a high reason why I don't like this track. It's reaction time. Mine's okay. And around majority circuits, it's pretty good. Around here, not so much, because we're talking fractions. You've only got to miss your braking marker or your turning point by literally a fraction of a second, and that's enough to completely screw up the lap, basically. So I'm definitely included in that, and I'd say that it all comes under racing, like IQ kind of thing, because you need to be on it 24/7 around the circuit. And I just don't have the ability to do that, so it's definitely a struggle.
One thing Certy said there as well, I imagine you're going to agree with him in whole totality. Usually pad guys hate Monaco because of the advantage that the wheel has. So I imagine you agree with that?
Sorry, what was that question?
That usually the people that hate Monaco, Certy says, are the guys that play on pad because there's a huge advantage to racing it on wheel. I imagine you're in full agreement with that?
Yes, 100%. I've raced via both around Monaco. On the wheel, I did 10 times better on. And the controller, I didn't even come close. It's the gradual turns, obviously the walls being the edge of the circuit, and again, a slight error, and you don't have as wider axis. Turning on a wheels are much more precise than using a analog stick, because the turning radius is much more, so slight inputs are actually slight inputs, whereas on the analog stick, slight inputs are basically 90-degree turns. Yeah. So there is a massive difference, and yeah, it does cost you if you're racing on a controller compared to a proper wheel.
Well, there you go. So you experts today with a wheel and the whole setup, you're in advantage. Advantage you guys. Let's quickly, while we're here, 12 minutes after quali, we've got plenty of time to kind of look at these guys' times. By the way, Bobby Leon so far, 110.097, absolutely smashing it again. Up there, no doubt, for me, one of the prospects, one of the rookies of the season, been so phenomenally kind of impressed by him and CB46. Ironically, the two guys at the top of the quali tower right now, two breathtaking prospects. Can't wait to see what they can do in future seasons to come. Let's have a look though at the crux of this, the meat and the bones of this final race tonight. We can start, of course, here with this Drivers' Championship. You can see here Keiran, 118 points to Chissy's 94. That is a 24-point lead, meaning, like I said, all Keiran needs to do here tonight is either A, finish above Chissy, B, not finish above Chissy, but Chissy doesn't finish first, or C, just try and find a way to hope and pray that Chissy crashes out. Effectively, all Keiran needs is a 9th place finish and he will be crowned champion. But, I mean, listen, you look at, the people underneath him. Louis Welch came in late, already on 72 points. Dom Parry, 71 points. I mean, you look at this top four of Keiran, Chissy, Welch, and Dom Parry. That is like a juggernaut top four. You put Sean Tiller in the mix as the top 5. That is the Mount Rushmore of VFL F1 racing right there in terms of consistency, in terms of performance, in terms of everything that you would want. As a competitor, Sergio, from your side of things, if you're in Louis Welch's position, Dom Parry's position, Tiller's position tonight, does it really matter where you finish if you're not able to win the championship? Will there be some sort of competitive hunger if you're Tiller, for example, to go and finish third, or if you're Dom Parry to kind of, try and go and gun for third or second, or does it just not matter at this point?
Well, brag and rights are still definitely up there. So you definitely want some kind of, saving grace for your brag and rights side of things. But I think it would then come down after the actual individual drivers championship. It'll be then look at the teams one. Can you do anything to benefit your team? Is it going to make much of a difference? If not, and you really think it's not going to make much of a difference, it then just comes down to go out, enjoy yourself, see if you can get that bragging rights podium at the end of the season.
That's fair. I mean, the thing as well, to get I'm going to look at the team championship in a minute, because I mean that's really, really intriguing. But for you, going into this final race tonight, the final race of the season for this one, are you impressed or are you relieved, or is it a combination of both that Keiran has finally kind of tamed that kind of explosiveness that we've seen him crash out, retire, bad corner, retire? Are you relieved, or are you impressed that he's finally been able to kind of control that, and now here we are, he's controlled it, he's leading the way going into the final race of tonight?
I'm impressed, if anything. I'll be honest, I didn't see any comeback at all from Keiran, and no intentions to improve either. Looking at last season, from the rage, what we call them, rage quits, crash outs, all that kind of stuff. Never saw any improvement. It'd be the same point week after week. Whereas this season, obviously, I said, he sticks in it, there's a chance, and he's done exactly that. And he's sort of pulled one out of the hat, really. Because I think there's some people that probably were like, yeah, no, it's fine. You expected him to do it. He had it in him, whatever. But just from what we've seen in previous seasons, I don't think he did at all, and he's proved myself and I'm sure other people wrong.
I think 100% right. I think as well, it's a testament to him as well. It shows that if you just lock in, focus, you can get it over the line. As well, Dej, I know you're a big 2K guy. Mondays for me, usually pretty difficult. So it's the final race of our F1 League tonight for the season. It's been 8 weeks in totality, so we're giving that full attention here this evening. But there will be more 2K coming this week. Don't you worry, son. We love a good bit of basketball. Let's talk about this team constructors then. I mean, this is the really interesting one. It is Team Aston Martin against Team Red Bull tonight, Sergio. 155 points accumulated by Aston Martin, 150 points accumulated by Red Bull. Ferrari looking likely they're not going to be able to kind of retain it this season. 119 points there in third position. I mean, this is a really tricky one to predict, because you're talking about, it's a tag team match of WWE proportions. VRL Keiran and CB46 against Chissy and Jamsey. Just straight shot, boom, rip off the band-aid. Who's winning it tonight and why? What team? Aston Martin or Red Bull? Who do you like and who do you think gets it done here in Monaco to bring that team constructors home?
Aston Martin for me. Mainly because Kieran's got 2 championships to fight for right now. The obviously drivers and the team one. So he's got to fight for both of them. Hopefully that'll push him to finish as high at the table as he possibly can. And not only that, you've also got the likes of CB46, who has done nothing but shock people and surprise people from the performances this season.
100%.
You're at a tight circuit as well. Defending is something that CB's pretty good at, and I'd like to say he could do that quite well around this circuit. So I'd say Aston Martin definitely have the advantage. It'll be down to basically what Jamsey could do in this race, and obviously it depends on collisions as well, because that completely put a spanner in the works if there's some collisions that affect either one of those teams. And just looking for example, at some Chissy laps at the moment, I've seen a few times where there's been some contact there on the front wing. Luckily, it's not damaged on the front wing, but there's been a couple of bounces off the wall, which could be a little more severe, obviously, in racing conditions when there's a little more pressure on you. But if you look at the qualifying results at the minute, it's more likely to go the way of Red Bull, considering how close they are to each other. So now it'll be a case of what can CB do. But again, the race really does decide that, because it comes down to safety cars, incidents, and just general collisions.
It does feel like deja vu a little bit when we talked about this last season with the team constructors as well, where we talk about the ultimate race, the race that decides it, and we're back here talking again, not about Keiran versus Chissy, but we're talking about the number 2 driver. You're talking about this, this proven quality now of the last 2 seasons of Jamsey against this brilliant prospect that's kind of shocked everyone, like you said, this season in CB46. I mean, regardless, it's been a fantastic battle between the Aston Martins and Red Bull. I can't call it. I think it's way too tight. I think with Monaco, anything can happen. Disaster can strike at any which moment. But regardless of who takes it home, whether it's Aston Martin or the Red Bull tonight. A phenomenal season from both two teams. And I think ultimately the Ferrari, with Shadow Gunner and Tiller, will be feeling a little bit disappointed that they're not closer and involved in that conversation. But don't count them out. If they stick together, they'll be back next season. We'll head back to the qualifying grid, though, as we have 4 minutes and some change remaining. Talk to me about these times so far, then, Sergio. Bobby Leon's of a 1:09.343. I mean, how impressive is that in hindsight?
Yeah, it's an exceptional time. You can see nearly a second clear. So it really has found some time either in that setup of his or just sheer pace alone. Is that going to be the car to cause an upset tonight? Potentially. Bragging rights is definitely going to be there for the Williams driver. But yeah, an absolutely fantastic time. I was expecting sort of 1:10s, which is obviously the upper end of the table. Pretty much almost your top 10 are all in 1:10s at least. But yeah, slightly creeping into the 1:11s, but no doubt that pace will pick up. Because for some of these drivers, this might be not the first time on the circuit, but it might be the first time in a while racing around here, because I know some people practice beforehand, some don't.
Yeah.
But also, you've got to remember, you're going to have the factors in of DRS and stuff, so just hot lap times, not too bad. Everyone's pretty much on target. Apart from Ellis towards the back, but again, the DRS comes into play, that time is nothing to worry about, and same with Ghosted as well. Easily able to come back once that DRS chain opens, because that will be a hell of a chain around this circuit.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great point you just made there as well. We talk about the last time some of these guys that were in the league played Monaco, unless you're actively practicing. You know, if you aren't a guy that's practicing, if you aren't a guy that's kind of getting your reps in, the last time I believe that this league did Monaco was 2 seasons ago. So you're talking back maybe like towards the beginning of January, end of December. Like, it's a long time ago since we've done Monaco. So you haven't maybe, you know, decided before this race this Monday to kind of give it a once over, give it a go, then maybe you're going to be in a little bit of a difficult position tonight. But listen, phenomenal to see such a stacked and packed grid. Like I said, final race night of the season. The pressure, you could say, is maybe on VRL Keiran. He only needs, though, 2 points to secure the league title, and nothing Chissy could do after that is going to be enough. But ultimately, it comes down to that team constructors tonight. But a grid of 19, absolutely superb from everybody involved. And like I said, keep your eyes peeled about Michael's announcement after tonight. That official confirmation coming of next season, season 5, likely to be around about the 22nd of June. But I do think as well Michael will be doing a couple of opinion polls of things as well, regarding maybe cars or regarding maybe tracks and whatnot, get some track voting going. But it's an exciting time. It's an exciting summer. Like I said, for me, F1 always feels like a great summer game when you're in that kind of transition period of waiting for the next FIFA to come out, the next NBA to come out. So, I mean, the fact that we've made it kind of last as well from winter to now, and we've not jeopardized our standards of quality is phenomenal. And I keep saying this to Sergio when we kind of end the stream and then we sit and chatter a little bit after each week. But the overall quality of racing from December until now has expanded and grown so much. So many improvements, whether you're someone like a Jamsey or, like I said, whether you're one of the kind of top usual guys like Chissy. I think even the guys underneath Chissy now, like the Jamsies, like the, you know, at points the dirty hippos when he has a good race, but more importantly or more focusedly, the Bobby Leons and CB46 introductions. I think those two guys have really pushed. Bobby Leons, that people forget, on his debut race, pipped Louis Welch to a race win. I mean, these are kids that are coming in that means serious business and are only going to get more and more dangerous as the seasons roll on by. But for now, final 50 seconds coming in of qualification here in Monaco, and only one driver has a 1:09. Everyone else is kind of in there in the 1:10s, the 1:11s, and you've got the guys lower down the grid in the 1:12s. Pretty surprising, I will say as well, with 30 seconds remaining. Of course, Tiller could still shut me right up, but Tiller on a 1:12.446. That may be, again, a little bit shocking, because we expect so much from him. Maybe a victim of high expectations, that is Tiller in the Ferrari tonight. But again, don't sleep on him. He's such a good driver on his day. We saw that just last season. There you go. Serti says, some of us have gone backwards in ability. No, Serti, you just love to race on intermediates. If you actually tried and you actually leaned forward a bit and kind of squinted your eyes and, you know, gave it your best, I think you'd be absolutely fine. But I just think you're the VFL F1 version of Aaron Ramsdale. You just can't focus for an hour, and that's fine. We love people like that. We do. There we go. Bailey, or doesn't pit at all. Exactly. Last week you literally refused to pit. That's not an ability thing. That's just you being a meme. That's all that is. For now, though, listen, Bobby Leon sets the fastest lap, and look at that, Sergio, a 1:08.974. So nearly 2 whole seconds faster than VRL Keiran. We're going to have that kind of final cross of the checkered line as Keiran goes on a 1:10.2, CB46 on a 1:10.4. How damn impressive is that from Bobby Leon's then that we're talking about? He's the only guy that's finished in between the 1:08 to 1:09 bracket. No one else has done it.
Yeah, no, it's thoroughly impressive. Just shows the ability there, because that gap is huge between the top two. Again, when it comes to the racing side of it, though, the advantage will go the way of Keiran. But if Bobby could keep that pace up lap after lap in the race, and it's going to be a struggle to keep him with him.
Absolutely. Thank you so much as well, Bobby, for the follow there. Impressive time, young man. And there you go. Quality done. And as, of course, we always say, please do not ready up until Michael gives you the go-ahead. It's usually about 3 or 4 minutes after, so please do not be an idiot. Do not ready up. Thank you. Bobby Leon says, saying, literally, I'm getting a wheel next week. Finally come off this controller. So he's just set a 1:08 there, Sergio, with a controller. That makes it even more impressive, surely.
Yeah, massively. Massive respect to him for getting that kind of time on a controller.
For now, we kind of sit back and we relax and we wait. Drivers will get their setups prepared. Again, please, fellas, do not ready up until Michael tells you to. It is the final race of this season in the VFL F1 League. VRL Keiran just needs 2 points to get it done. For Keiran to do an ultimate bottle here, he would need to finish outside of the points, and Chissy would need a first place finish. He's the greatest in some people's minds, but is he great enough to overcome those mountain-laden heights? I don't know. What do you think this comes down to tonight, Sergio? With the first sector, the first 5 laps, what do you think the kind of the clicking point of this race, the changing point of this race could come in?
I think that all depends on when that safety car comes in, because I do think we're going to see one tonight. So I think it depends on when that happens, if I'm honest. Okay. I think this will be a race that could be decided on the last lap.
I think you could be right. I think there's so many people here tonight convinced. I was talking to Bailey earlier on before you got here as well. He was saying over 3.5 safety cars. It would shock me tonight if we see a lot of safety car issues. But what do you think about, penalties, track limits and whatnot? Do you think we're going to see a penalty-heavy track tonight or not?
The only places I can think of where you would pick those up is turn 1 and the chicane. They're the only 2 places I can think of you can actually cut the corners, because everywhere else when you try and cut a corner, you face with a wall. So I think it's going to be a lot more difficult to actually get penalties unless speeding in the pits or contact with other drivers. They're the only ways I can think these drivers actually get them.
There you go. As well, we've got more spectators coming in. Kemia saying, I'm tuned in. Over 6.5 crashes. He's got no faith tonight. HD is saying a 0.8.9 is crazy. Pollen Breath saying, I'll take P9. It's a solid finish. I'll take P18, says Tony Yates, with a couple of laughing emojis. Yeah, listen, final race of the evening, or of the season, should I say. Just to try and enjoy yourself the best you can, Tony. Craig are there cheering on his former teammate as well, Chissy. Good to see him still rooting him on, but it's going to be mission impossible, I feel like, tonight for Chissy. I guess we'll see. Bobby Lund said, I'm on pad 2. Lol, I don't know how I did an 8.9. So even he is looking at his hands going, what the hell have you just done for me? So for now, of course, fellas, get ready, because 10:08 p.m. is hit. And I believe green light will be coming at any moment now. So keep your hands on the controller or on the wheel, whatever you're racing on tonight. And get ready for the final race of our season, the Monaco Grand Prix, here tonight. Gun to your head, Sergio, as we always do. Not podium. We can get into that a little bit later. Who's winning this one tonight?
I'm going to back Keiran.
There you go. Keiran is the call from our race expert, Sergio. Here we go then. Final time of this season. Monaco in all of its glory. There's the tyre strategy for people. Michael saying that regardless whether it was raining or sunny tonight, it would be a 2-stop race. And with that comes potential planning, potential communication between the teams, but also a lot of strategy and IQ. Of course, I'll be floating through the grid. Sergio will be our kind of lower half of the grid kind of liaison. First kind of couple of turns, Sergio, have you seen... Oh, well, there's been one car or two cars that are lodged into the wall, but have you seen anything beyond that that's concerned you on this tight track on the early moments?
No massive concerns. A few dives here and there that I wouldn't necessarily go for, but obviously they've been made and pushed through. But apart from that, nothing too crazy that I've seen yet.
For now, of course, we'll keep our eyes peeled on Keiran and Chissy here. First 10-second penalty as Bailey has DNF'd. I think Bailey has just been completely torpedoed there. So I think, yeah, Bailey's been taken out there by H-Dino. Two of the guys that usually are towards the back of the pile, and Bailey's night seemingly has ended. Surprised at that, Sergio. No safety car, though.
Yeah, it seems to do more ghosting than it does safety car around here. So, interesting to see if that is the case the entire night.
Yeah, I think you're bang on as well. Look at that as well. Jamsey, another top name, usually in the kind of round about the top 5, top 4 of the grid, having to pit already. So I think he was one of the poor souls that went into the advertising board when we were on that kind of sky camera in the early portion of the race. Bobby Leon's, of course, set that 108.9. He so far is loving Monaco, and he is miles ahead of Chissy. As of right now, this is perfectly fine for Keiran. Chissy in second, Keiran in third. The gap is too big. It wouldn't mean anything. Keiran needs to finish outside the top 10, and Chissy needs to win this race if he is to bring this championship home tonight. He leads by 24 points before we hit the grid here this evening. Ken, you're saying as well, Monaco used to be glitched for safety cars. Not sure if it still is, but it used to be impossible to get them. Knowing EA Sports and knowing the game that we play, more than likely they have not fixed that, and it's still very much the same. Let's flick through this grid though, see what else we've got going on down here. We've got a bit of a battle here between Louise McCallion, if that's how you pronounce it, and Surtee. Surtee having a great start to everyone's delight. 7th place in the Racing Ball as of now. Got to fend off that Mercedes though. Blazer Guns here right behind Louise. Tiller right behind him. We've got a couple of cars here. I think, what is this? It's Ghosted, who I think is ghosting, but ultimately he's back. But he cut right across Ellis there, and Ellis took a little bit of a rough touch of the boards there. But this is the kind of area of the track, of the race tonight, where you are going to see maybe more of that contact, more of that kind of difficulty and overtakes. Is this lower end? It is really the trenches down here. It's just about kind of keeping safe. And as I said, slow and steady wins the race. People will get aggressive. People will ultimately try things that don't work, and that's when you capitalize and you seize the opportunity to climb up the grid. So far, though, Dom Parry as well having a little bit of a problem. I think he ghosted and then kind of clipped himself. He's on soft tyres. I mean, let's get your opinion on that, Sergio. I mean, to come out on softs, VRT, Dylan Evans, Tiller, and Dom Parry. Of course, we're going to ignore Bailey. He's already out of this one tonight. You often call the softs the pointless compound. There's no point coming out on softs. They just feel like they don't do enough in F1. But to come out on softs in Monaco, do you see the method to the madness, or not understanding it?
Kind of. It might be a little slow, but at the same time, you don't really have many cars getting over speed on you. Around the circuit, it's a bit too tight for that. So it might not be a bad option, to be fair, around this circuit. You might be able to defend it well enough. So yeah, the softs definitely might be a bit more of a gamble here tonight.
There you have it for now. Listen, I love this so far. 4 laps in, a long way to go. But you look at it, this kind of top 6, Sergio. Dylan Evans, Surtee, Blazer Guns, and even the new boy, Louise McCallion, right behind one another. I mean, you would love to see that tonight, wouldn't you? You know, the final race of the season. Let's see some new faces in that kind of top 10.
Yeah, 100%. And it causes a big shake-up as well. And one thing to point out as well is you've got a few new faces ahead of Jamsey, who's currently 16th. So in terms of the constructors, doesn't bode well for the Red Bull team so far.
Yeah, advantage Aston Martin, and ironically, it is Keiran who is down there in 15th as well. He's had to pit early, so clearly some sort of contact or something has happened to his car. He knows tonight it's just about kind of finishing 9th. The golden checkpoint for Keiran is a 9th place finish, and he wins this championship. So you are going to see him, no doubt, racing to the very end. He does not want to give Chissy even a chance, because right now, Chissy in 2nd, Keiran in 15th. All it takes is Chissy to pip Bobby Leon's here, and Keiran could be on for one of the worst battles in history in terms of a championship loss. But yeah, no, I'm impressed. I think as always, Sergio, you'd have to expect that first lap, especially in Monaco, for some of these kind of guys that have not raced it in 6 months, or even for some of these new guys that are still getting used to F1 and get used to the competitive nature of it. The first lap in Monaco was always going to be the roughest. It seems like now people have found their footing a little bit more. What do you make of that? Are you seeing that in the lower half of the grid?
Yeah, 100%. The rhythms are starting to show now of these drivers, and they're starting to put in those quicker lap times as well, and gaps are forming, which means that they can get their head down a little more. So it does help point out the individual battles as well. Like right now, I'm watching Manscott-Tism trying to put some pressure on the P10 of Ellis there, so be interesting to see what happens, hard tyre versus medium. But yeah, you're definitely seeing drivers find their groove, and there's a little less debris out on circuit now flying off of these cars.
There you go as well. Just great to see Hayden Ellis here tonight with stable internet. You remember Hayden Ellis, if you're an OG of the F1 League, you remember Hayden Ellis used to be on his university Wi-Fi. It used to be like watching, just, you know when you go at Asda and someone's just left their plastic bag out, it's just flying through the fucking wind, whizzing around. That used to be Hayden Ellis's car on his old Wi-Fi connection. So good to see that he's kind of got it stable here tonight. Maybe finally invested in an Ethernet cable. God bless him. But again, for now, like I said, new faces in the top 10. Tism 10th, Ellis 9th. Dirty Hippo, it's like he lives in 8th position. He loves that. HDinho in 7th after a very kind of difficult start in first lap. Got involved in that incident. Louise McCallie in there in 6th. Surtees showing that when he puts the racing helmet on, and he isn't driving with, a pair of boxers on his forehead, restricting his vision, being a complete clown, he can race up there with the best of them. 5th place at the minute, putting pressure on Dylan Evans as things stand. But Bobby Leon's right now, not a single soul behind him. He is loving it out there tonight. Maybe we found our Monaco Grand Wizards here, Sergio, because it set this incredible pace, this incredible time in the qualification, and now he is miles clear of the competition. The big news that just happened and just came in as well is VRL Keiran there, Sergio. If you caught that, has taken a 10-second penalty. I think it was corner. No, I think he's hit something, and he's going back into the pits again. And Keiran has retired. Well, Sergio. This title may not be all wrapped up. One of the two big things we needed to see happen has happened, and that is Keiran out. He is retired. He is believing tonight. He has just taken off his Aston Martin shirt and he's whacked on a Williams shirt here. Because now, Sergio, this is the point that we were making in the build-up. If Chissy gets first position, he's going to win the championship by a singular point. Are you surprised at that, Keiran retiring?
It surprised me a little bit. However, I will say that the penalty, I didn't see the exact moment the penalty was given, but from what I can see in the build-up to it, I don't think that was really on him. I think he got it for corner cutting, same as what Jamsey just got just then. Except from, I think he did it to avoid a collision. And it's where we're seeing a lot. Yeah, it's where we're seeing a lot of collisions at the minute. And Blazer Guns is the latest to suffer. So Don Parry, Ghosted, and Blazer Guns all suffering contact in the same area, which is that chicane towards the end of the circuit. So it's just after they come up the quick tunnel in Sector 2, then you slow down for a quick left, right, left. And it's there where we had the Ferrari going up against, I believe it was a Kick Sauber car, and they were going in, heel to toe pretty much. And when they came into the braking zone, the two cars ahead of him were getting very close. There was contact between the two cars, and then that's when Keiran had to go straight on to avoid full-on contact to remove his entire front wing pretty much, because he was coming in at some speed. So he's done it to avoid a collision, cost himself 10 seconds though, unfortunately. So I can understand why he would be annoyed and why he's just packed it in. I get that. And that is ultimately what Monaco does to drivers. It really does wind people up, because you will get drivers out there that are very aggressive, and they will actually cost you more time than what you think.
Well, I think the other kind of important thing here now as well is the shake-up to the team constructors. This gives, of course, Dom Parry with another 10-second penalty for corner cutting there. Dom Parry's having a nightmare, 20 seconds right now. But right now, it's Team Red Bull against Team Aston Martin. Chissy in second, CB46 in third, Jamsey in 12th. But it's not about Jamsey being in 12th, it's Jamsey having a 13-second time penalty. Jamsey has got to get some control and some kind of composure here, because if Jamsey can even finish in the top 8 or 7 here tonight, Sergio, that Team Constructors is looking like it's going to have the Red Bull logo on it.
Yeah, basically everything comes down to Bobby Leon's at the top and then CB46. They are the two cars that decide both titles. And Keiran's just basically put all his eggs in one basket. And again, I get why. But it is a big risk, and now you've got the 29 long laps to find out whether you're going to come out victorious.
Yeah, it's a very, very nervous one. But I mean, when you look at how Bobby Leons is racing here tonight, he looks like he is not going to be catchable, and we're saying that with 29 laps to go still. But right now, it's another big penalty, and Jamsey now is on a 23-second penalty. I mean, you talk about guys that you would have belief and trust in tonight, Sergio, to have a clean race. You wouldn't be thinking 10 laps in, Jamsey 23 seconds, Dom Parry 20 seconds. What's happened there? What's gone on there?
I think it is that chicane fighting. That seems to be the corner where I'm seeing most contact pretty much every lap when I'm focusing on. It doesn't matter whatever car I'm focusing on. There's contact either just with the wall, or just two cars locking up together. There seems to always be contact in that area of the circuit, so that's where all these penalties are coming from. And that was one of the areas I mentioned about where most of the penalties will come from either corner cutting or collisions. So it's there and turn one, they're the two hot spots.
One thing I will say as well, to get your opinion, because I'd love to get this kind of, you're the competitor out of us two when it comes to, you know, F1, when it comes to just racing in general. If you're Chissy at this point, you've obviously got the knowledge that Keiran has retired. He's crashed. He's said, that's it. That's enough for me tonight. As Jamsey gets another 10-second penalty. What is his thought process now? Is he going to be looking at Bobby Leons having this incredible race and going, it doesn't matter, it's over, it makes no difference, I've lost? Or do you have to keep the faith that something's going to go wrong for that Williams car?
You got to keep the faith. It's not over till, you know, that checker flag is out and you've crossed the line in a second. It is not over till that point. At that point, yes, it is over, but you can make a massive difference. We still could see a safety car. I mean, it's unlikely just due to the cars just ghosting, but there's a chance. There's still a chance it would happen, and there's a lot of penalties still to dish out. I mean, obviously, just when you were talking then, Jamsey picked up another one. Again, that's from a McLaren diving down the inside on that tight chicane. And by doing so, Jamsey's had to go straight on, because if not, he's just going to be locked up and both cars will end up in a wall. So he's avoided contact, and again, just like what happened with Keiran, he's gone straight on, picked up 10-second time penalty for corner cutting in that sector where they're coming up to now, in terms of the two McLaren cars. So it's, you know, there's a lot of things that can change. So Chizzy's just got to hold in there and just see how the race unfolds.
There you go. Well, as we were talking there, when you were talking, Bobby Leons has pitted, gone on to fresh hards, whereas Chissy has come out the pits on fresh mediums. Michael, they're picking up a 3-second penalty as well. A recap, on the penalty so far. 3 seconds for Tism, 33 monstrous seconds for Jamsey, 6 seconds for Michael, 9 seconds for Ghosted, and 10 seconds for Dom Parry. It's almost like a bit of karma here for Dom Parry. Dom Parry was teasing Chissy before the race tonight, saying Chissy's terrible at Monaco. Dom Parry has not had a good one here whatsoever tonight. Consistency, though, as well from the McLaren 10th and 11th from Michael and Marcel there. And same for H-Dino and Hayden Ellis also. Blazer Guns currently trying to gain some traction on Hayden Ellis and look for the overtake. Again, top 10 gets you points. Everyone wants to finish in the points in the final race of the season. Marcel, they're looking just ahead of him at R. Jamsey. who is continuing just to try and find his bearings around these tight and treacherous chicanes of corners. But for now, it's looking like a bit of a hopeless exercise. If he can finish in the top 10 with a 33-second time penalty, I'll eat my own shoe. That's going to be quite the task. So, realistically, you wipe Jamsey off the board. You wipe Keiran off the board. It is outright Chissy versus CB46 for this team constructors here tonight. So, we'll see what happens there. Don't forget, the Aston Martin before the race tonight, 5 points clear of the Red Bull. So, I think Chissy's going to need CB46 to make a mistake here or there, drop a couple of places, and then maybe, just maybe, the Red Bull will walk away with at least one title tonight, or a man in a Red Bull uniform will walk away with at least one title here tonight. For now, we'll go back up the grid. Of course, you've got Dylan Evans here in 6th place in the Kick Sauber, chasing down Sean Tiller in the Ferrari, who, of course, is also chasing down Scott Tism. A rare sight for him to be in 4th position, but he is on 12 lap-old hards, and he is also nursing a 3-second time penalty. CB46 and Chissy not really close to each other. There's a bit of a gap now between each of them. A big gap between 1st and 2nd, a big gap between 2nd and 3rd, and a big gap between 3rd and 4th. So the podium starting to take shape, although we're only 14 laps in, Sergio.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a good picture and good idea of who's going to be up there. But again, anything could happen from now to the end of the race. You know, there could be a massive mix-up yet. But if things were to keep going in the direction they're going at the minute, it's looking like those three are just going to run away with it, really. And that's going to be that.
Kemi was just saying, why did that fella have a fuel sign on his HUD? So maybe one of the cars underfueled, who knows? Has Vehicle gone back to Prem Championship or so on? No, and I've got no intention of ever doing it, because my life for the last 8 months has been absolutely peaceful. I don't have to worry about freaks dropping into certain divisions to lower tier hunt. I haven't got to worry about people bottling. It's a wonderful time to be alive. I've got 130 managers that aren't fucking retarded. It's great. So don't have to like it. Maybe you hate it because you like to run around and tactically pick where you play your FIFA. But yeah, as far as I can tell you, I wish I made this change years ago. Absolutely scintillating. I'll tell you that much for free. But now, back to the racing. 14 laps in. I mean, listen, it's difficult for me to even fathom here, Sergio, how Bobby Leons is going to be caught. He's got that, you know, those fresh 3-lap-old hards on. He's 11 seconds clear of Chissy. This is the guy. This is the performance. This is the racer that we saw completely frustrate and annoy Louis Welch in his debut, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago, when he pipped him in that race. I mean, are we looking at someone that is really fast, or are we looking at someone that is really, what's the words, suave in his turns and his steering, or are we looking at a combination of both? Because he looks like he's the full package right now.
Yeah, I think it's confidence plays a big thing. I think confidence and momentum, they play hand in hand, and that those two hands are being dealt by a few drivers tonight. There are some people out there that are looking very strong, and they're picking up pace as the race goes on as well. So, yeah, I think, obviously, the driver you mentioned specifically, but there is a good handful of people out there that seem to all be full of confidence, I think is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
And really sort of pushing their cars to their limits.
As well, there, just Marv saying Tism in 4th. Love that from that. We love Tism here. Doesn't usually have a good race. Again, keep in mind, 6 seconds of pens, and he's going to have to pit soon, 14 lap-old hards. But this is categorically the best start I've seen Tism have to a race. The aim today for him has to be to finish in the points. It is a very, very strong start from the Williams, for both of the Williams, Bobby Leons and Scott Tism. Great to see it. And look, we haven't really touched on these guys too much here today, have we, Sergio? You know, thoughts on the Ferrari? How are these two, Tiller and Shadow's doing for you tonight? Are they struggling? Are they looking good? What's the comms on the Ferraris if you've been watching them all?
Yeah, so they were some of the drivers I was actually referencing in terms of we've seen pace improvements. Mm-hmm. Just as I say that, I've just seen Shadow Gunner. I don't even know how to describe what just happened there. He seemed to just almost spin out on a straight line and end up putting, I think it was an Alpine, into the wall. So I'm not too sure what's going on there. I feel like there's potentially a bit of playing the game, and there might well be a safety car coming out.
Yeah, they've slowed down, so I think a safety car is coming.
We've got virtual safety car at least, but full course yellows. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, and I don't know if that slamming in the wall was intentional from the 37 Ferrari there, Shadow's gunner, because I saw him hit into the wall a few times, and if it was, it's a tactical play to pull a safety car out, I imagine. What benefit that would do, I'm not too sure. Might have been paid off by Chissy, who knows?
Yeah, I think Chissy slipped a brown envelope or two underneath the door there, but I mean, even if a safety car comes out here, you're still talking about a monstrous gap. It just depends how quickly you can close down that gap and get back tight to him. But this is the type of situation here, Sergio, with that safety car coming out, where VRL Keiran has just maybe leaned a little bit more forward and gone, don't you even think about it, don't you dare.
Yeah. The one thing I'm just trying to keep an eye on at the minute is debris on circuit. I'm not seeing much. There's no car stopped on track, and yeah, we're back under racing conditions, so that safety car's now not going to happen. But I'll be curious to know. Well, curious to see if there's any messages from Shadow's gunner at the end of the session, just to see what the idea behind that was, because part of it, if not all of it, certainly looked intentional. So it'd be interesting to see what his opinion is.
Well, for now, it's not made a difference, though. Marv saying, what's the league ranking looking like? Before tonight, Marv, VRL Keiran, who was retired early after an incident, was 24 points clear of Chissy. For Chissy to win the league championship here tonight, it's the final race of the season, he would need Keiran to finish outside the points or retire, which he has done, and Chissy, who is currently second, would need to win. If that happens, he will win the Season 4 championship here tonight by one singular point. It's not out the realm of possibility as much as maybe we thought it was, but Bobby Leon's man is looking damn fast. He really is. Dom Parry is Bowie Knife 99 confirmed. He may well be. He may well be. Tony Yates saying, my bloody bad. My brakes locked up straight behind Dom and I crashed straight into the wall. That's what he said. I think that's Jamsy there. So, no, or Shadow. I don't know who that is. I don't know. Mr. Tony Yates, though, whoever you are, we appreciate your honesty. So, brakes locked up and you pretty much crashed straight into the wall. So that's that for the virtual safety car. Oh, that's Ghosted. There you go. Thank you, Ghosted. Appreciate you. So, I mean, listen, I guess you get the joy and the cinema now of sitting back and seeing what happens in this deciding title race tonight. Surtees and Hippo there both kind of trading some paint, though, Sergio, as, again, Surtees has the door closed on him, not able to kind of overtake Hippo. Right now, though, you are going to be looking at more of these drivers looking to come in at some point. You'd think that Tiller, Hippo, maybe even HD, are going to all start to think about pitting soon. Dylan Evans has just gone into the pits there, fresh hards, and Shadow's Gunner has just taken a 3-second penalty as well and has come out on softs, it seems. So there you go. So it's not just one person leading by a margin. It's quite close, which is nice. Keeps it competitive, which is great. Oh, the race for for third position, Marv, is wonderful. Hop into the F1 Discord if you aren't already in there. They've got all the graphics in there. I don't want to take the race off stream for obvious reasons, but there you go. Kevin, you're saying people are trying to overtake in the craziest positions. He's right, isn't he, Sergio? But is that desperation, or is that just sheer stupidity, or is it both?
I'm going to make a bold statement, and the driver probably won't like me for doing this. I've seen it might be desperation in some cases. I think it's absolutely stupidity from Shadow Gunner, if I'm completely honest, because I've been watching him still for the last few laps. And again, I've just seen him pull off an overtake on Ellis down the straight. And a car that's currently in front of him, which is Dylan Evans in the Kicks Alba car, ghosted coming out of the pits. And he just decided to nudge into Ellis twice, who was on his left side as they were coming into turn 1, which is a right-hander. And that ultimately pushed the position. So I don't feel, in my opinion, I don't feel it's a fair overtake at all. And it's not the first time I've seen it in the last 4 laps. But there is some very aggressive driving out there, that's for sure. Look, at the end of the day, if you get away with it and it works, good for you. But I know there's definitely going to be some.
Oh, there will be.
I reckon there's some heated arguments coming.
Oh, there's some heated arguments coming. There's going to be people clipping it and submitting it because they know if you get done at the end of the season, those penalties will carry over to next season. We've seen it happen before. We have. So, got to be careful. You do not want to start Season 5, Race Week 1, with a 10-second penalty or a race ban. That's absolutely not what you want to see. Totally not. Kemio said there's like one good spot per lap on the track to overtake. I'm seeing people fighting through tight corners and stuff. Marv saying, sorry, do keep track on the F1 VFL, but watch the streams after a live. Once usually miss it because it's nice to watch it live. Hey, Marv, appreciate you watching it on replay. Top man. Maybe because it's just Monaco isn't a popular track. I think it's a combination, Liam, of Monaco not a popular track. I think there's head loss definitely on the grid. And I think also it's the fact that it's the final race of the season. I think people are being a little bit more boisterous, adventurous, whatever you want to put it as. But for now, I mean, listen, boisterous, adventurous, it's not going to help because Bobby Leons is charging away here. 17 seconds Chissy is behind him. I mean, is that going to hurt more, do you think, Sergio? When you look at this tonight, Keiran crashing, ending the race early. If Chissy finishes second and he ends up finishing behind Keiran by a minuscule number of points, I mean, would he rather lose the league title by a lot, or would he rather lose the league title by a finite margin? I mean, you don't want to lose regardless, but that's going to sting for Chissy, isn't it?
I think losing by a finer margin is more painful, because then you look back at it over the entire season, and it's like, well, what if I did this differently, or what if I did that differently? What if I won this race and, you know, came second here rather than third? But you have so many what ifs come through your mind. Whereas if you lose it by a bigger margin, it's more, okay, what went wrong? You know, it's a broader question, broader answer. What went wrong? What could I have done to improve? Whereas if you lose by a couple of points, you're literally looking across your whole season, being like, where did I lose those points? So I think there is a hunger aspect as well. It makes you more hungry for it the following season. But at the same time, I think it's a bit of an easier pill to swallow if you know, the gap is a little bigger.
Agree. As well, Kem, you're asking, how was Bobby Leons, called Bobby Leons a Monaco specialist, how is he not in the title race? Well, listen, he came in a couple of weeks back, debut race, picked Louis Welch, who some people regard as one of the fastest drivers ever, won a race where Louis Welch was involved, got 25 points there. I think last week, he retired in the pits or something happened, he got no points. Right now, on the standings, he's got 25 points, and that has all come from that one race in which he won. So he's going to get another 25 here tonight. I think if you were looking at a reason here to maybe say next season could be one of the greatest seasons that we've done so far, it is because of guys like this. If Louis Welch is here full-time, if Bobby Leons is here full-time, if Chissy's here full-time, if Keiran's here full-time, you could have 4 versions of Max Verstappen duking it out for the Season 5 Championship, Sergio.
Yeah, you certainly could, and that's going to really make things interesting over the course of the season. One thing that is interesting is watching Dom Parry. I think Dom Parry's just happy to be here. Just watch him drive headfirst into the wall in the final corner. No attempt to steer. He's just deleted his front wing because, you know, weight reduction. We don't need that. And now he's just cruising around without a front wing. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do with that. I mean, he's not really going to claw any positions back, but it's more a question of, is he going to cause a safety car? That he is, because he's just managed to retire his car by ripping the front left wheel off. So we might well see a safety car called, just because he is in a bit of an interesting area. Then again, no, the game said, no, screw your safety car, that's deleted his car. So never mind, we are now not going to see a safety car at all, because that's already been cleared. So, yeah, we're back racing underway as normal.
The FIA are a fucking shocker, aren't they?
Yeah, I think FIA need to be investigated, and not only that, I think the pills that were slipped into Dom Parry's drink need to be investigated as well, because he was definitely on something driving into the wall that quick.
Dom Parry has had the worst night ever, from teasing Chissy about being shocking at Monaco to having probably, and we love Dom Parry here, he's a former contender, multi-time winner. But he's had probably one of the worst nights in F1 history for himself here. It's not been a night to remember for old Dom Parry. But listen, those spots there, they keep reducing and reducing. 4 drivers have, of course, exited Monaco in stretches, and now 15 remain. The chase for a points finish is very much on. Let's give you a recap and remind you just joined us on the penalties here. 6 seconds for Tism, 26 for Jamsey, who's done well to reduce it from 33. 9 for Michael, 3 for Dylan Evans, 3 for Shadows Gunner, 3 for Blazer Guns, and 3 for HDinho. The 4 victims of death here in Monaco tonight: Dom Parry, Ghosted 95, VRL Keiran, and Bailey. I mean, it's intriguing to me because I love this part of the season. I feel like this part of the season, you have guys that are hungry to finish as high as possible, but you've also got guys like a Dom Parry, maybe like a Keiran low-key, who don't really mind where they finish because what they want to achieve is already in motion, and that opens up a door for someone like Surtees and even a new guy in Louise McCallion. Look at man's got Tism as well. The fact that he's still in there in 6th position, yes, he's got a penalty, but I mean, he could easily finish in the top 10. Tiller as well has remained consistent 9th at the minute, but it's going to rocket up these standings based on the fact that he's already pitted on fresh hards. And of course, CB, Surtees, Louise McCallion, and also Chissy all need to pit, and that's what Chissy is doing just about now. The big thing that you've got to maybe think about here for Chissy as well, Sergio, though, maybe he starts to concede this Drivers' Championship. He's 23 seconds behind, but he has to keep focus for the team constructors because CB46 can lose time. CB46 can perhaps have a slip here, which is more likely that will deliver the Red Bull, the team constructors, back to them. Would it be a disaster, though, if the Red Bull tonight, based on this race, 25 laps so far, walk away with 0 titles, no Drivers' Championship for Chissy, and no team constructors for Red Bull? Would that be a disaster, or would that just be, you know, the results of Monaco on a final day of the season?
I don't know if it'll be a disaster, but it definitely will be devastating, that's for sure. It's a bit of a tricky one because if Chissy wants to just concede the Drivers' Championship and wants to back off, he certainly can do, and potentially try and force an error from CB46. Because remember, I've mentioned there's a couple of hotspots around here. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to know where they are. And I'm sure these drivers are well aware of those hotspots where drivers tend to go off circuit or have a little bit of a nudge or collision. And if Chissy was to, happen to fall off the pace a little bit, shall we say, and ends up close to CB46 and they fight in that area, there's a chance that if Chissy plays his cards right, could force CB into penalties, into some sort of time penalty, and that could knock him out of the points completely, which means that Aston Martin walk away without any points tonight. So yeah, it all depends on what Chissy wants to chase more, really. If you walk away without anything tonight, I wouldn't say it's a disaster. You're going to be devastated, but it's a good thing to reflect on. And if you're obviously carrying on next season, it'll be a good thing, good motivator as well to get back on that top step.
Absolutely. And they've got questions here as well. Chissy's control is insane. The way he's drifting around the corners and then controlling it's crazy to see. Do these players play with a wheel or all on the controller? I think you've probably looked at this lobby. You say you got a couple of people on wheel. Bobby Leons, we know, has already said he's on controller, but I would say there's a good portion on wheel here tonight, but there are also some controller players as well. Craig R mentioning and reminding us that the Red Bull, they are in a bit of a trophy drought, a title drought. Last time Red Bull won the VFL Constructors was Season 3 with me and Chissy, because of course Ferrari pipped it to them last season. Well, no, sorry, Season 2. Season 3 was last season, so Season 2 was last time Red Bull picked one up. That's back near, like I said, like December time, January time. So again, droughts happen, and as of tonight, as it stands, CB46 would be doing enough, I would imagine, for the Aston Martin to walk away with the team constructors. Again, coming into this one tonight, the Aston Martin were 5 points ahead of Red Bull. However, maybe Jamsey can still have a say. Yes, he's in 5th at the minute, but he does have 26 seconds of pen to serve, so maybe not all over yet, but it's not looking promising for Jamsey either. If you close your eyes and pretend those penalties don't exist, then the Red Bull are in a great position, but that's not reality. Of course, as well, Hayden Ellis has just joined the pile in terms of retirements here. Sergio, the Alpine there in 15th, saying that race tonight is over for him. Surtees, of course, as well, going in and pitting, got those fresh hards on. He's in 10th. Points for Surtees today would feel like a jackpot lottery win. I keep saying this, though, the team that's impressing me the most tonight, yes, of course, you got the Williams, but the McLaren, Sergio, 6th and 6th and 8th at the minute. Of course, Michael's got a penalty, but really consistent from the McLaren here tonight. Yeah,
very consistent. Good teamwork as well. There's been a couple of times where they are, toe to toe, but they've managed to navigate through the circuit without well, with minimal contact, minimal issues, and the showing. You know, the pace is up there, and they're both within the top 10. Senor Lisp has penalties to his name, but it's not a major issue. You know, there's quite a few cars out there with penalties. The main thing is just keep that number low. I've just seen as well a massive collision from Seti, who'd done a full 360 there. But yeah, overall, good work from the McLarens, and a nice strong finish for him as well.
Agree. Well, listen, I'm praying. I'm a big Surtees fan. We need to see Surtees get over the line and get some points tonight. We would love that. Dylan Evans, though, the other kick salver next to Dom Parry, has seemingly just, I think, either retired in the pits or just died somewhere. But again, the pile-ups continue to happen and the retirements continue to come out in full force. So now you're nearing the position of maybe automatically getting points here tonight. Dylan Evans, Hayden Ellis, Dom Parry, Ghosted 95, Keiran and Bailey suffering here in Monaco. We actually have words there as well from Hayden Ellis on his retirement. He says, I had to retire, shaking my head, lost the front wing as I locked up on turn 1, was already 18 seconds behind and would have had to pit. Hayden Ellis says, get me in the call if you want. Still sat spectating a Bobby Leon's masterclass. If you're on Xbox, Hayden, we're not in a Discord call or anything, we're just literally in an Xbox party, so I'd have to invite you in and then your audio would come through. But again, we can get you interviewed as well afterwards if you want to come on. But for now, 10 laps remaining, 10 laps away from VRL Keiran being effectively, I don't know if you can call it this, I feel like it's a little bit disrespectful to Kieran's efforts this season. Can we say VRL Keiran's going to be bailed out by Bobby Leon's tonight, Sergio?
I mean, that's a way you could put it, yeah. But I think to be fair, a lot of hard work went into this season, and you know, if Keiran didn't pick up those previous results, he wouldn't be able to just, you know, pack up and retire this race. Again, it might only be 1 point, and it might be Bobby that's the person keeping that point in place. But I'd say it's a bit much saying, you know, that it's been basically handed to him kind of thing. But I think both people have played their parts tonight. In my opinion, the more important thing that sticks out to me so far in this race is, you said famously at the start of this race, if Jamsey finishes in points with all those penalties, I will eat my shoe. I just want to make you aware that if 3 more cars retire from this session between now and the end,
man.
You will be eating a shoe because he automatically gets points.
I think with 9 laps remaining, I think we're talking about a grid now of people that are going to be kind of calm. I think I don't see too many head cases left on the grid whatsoever. This is Bobby Leon's making a statement for next season. He's incredible. Like I said, he's the only guy that's given Louis Welch serious trouble, serious problems. And keep in mind, this is Bobby Leon's on a controller. He says he's getting a wheel soon. He's about to become even more cracked, isn't he? So, I mean, talk about a way to end the season. Talk about a way to make a statement. I mean, this is the definition of it, isn't it? So, for now, yeah, all you can do is just really kind of say Bobby Leon's a name to watch. And it will be a bit of a stinger for Chissy tonight if it is going to end this way. It was so close, but ultimately, you know, he didn't lose this race. He didn't lose the championship at Monaco, did he, Sergio? That's harsh to say. You have to go back to maybe previous races. You know, there's been 7 other races. Let's not, you know, mince our words and say it's all because of today. He could have done better in other tracks where he didn't win the race. He needed to be a little bit more consistent, and that's the high standard for him because we know he's such a great driver, but he's won a championship before. He knows what it takes, but to miss out narrowly tonight, he will blame himself. He's not someone that's going to sit there and blame X, Y, Z other factors. He will know that he needed to just be a split second better in a race somewhere else in the calendar, and he would have got it done tonight. So there you go. Kem, you're saying as well, yeah, once he gets used to the wheel, it'll be a bit worse for a while, then it's going to be faster than ever after like a month or 2. Yeah, it's just about getting that practice in. Surtees as well there joins our penalty bonanza. There's a reminder of the penalties for you once again. CV 46, 3 seconds. Jamsey, 26 seconds. Surtees 3. Shadow's got a 3. HDNO 6. Man's got to some 9. Michael with 12. And Blazer Guns with 6. 7 laps to go though, Sergio. Do you see any sort of drama anywhere on the grid happening, whether it be for the podium, for the points, what are you looking at and saying is maybe the kind of action zone now these last kind of 7 laps?
Between Shadow Gunner and Tism, to be fair, 3 cars all fairly close together. It's definitely battling between Alpine and Williams as they're going side by side now through the tunnel, heading down towards the hot spot. They're now in single file form, but this is where we see most incidents, and actually that's more or less the safest I think I've seen it all session. Both cars took their time and got it done more or less in a safe manner. So
yeah, I told you. I feel like we got some very cautious and conservative drivers left on the grid now. They don't want to see me eat a shoe. So there you go. They're doing me a favour. Question from Manuel's Black: will the penalties from getting punted at the chicane get wiped? Like when a car gets smashed into another car behind, it gets a penalty for getting hit. That's one that only Michael can answer. I think if you submit that to Michael, maybe. I'm not promising anything. Maybe he'll say it's just EA Sports and that's where we're at. But yeah, I couldn't confidently comment on that based on what Michael wants to do. For now, that we keep our eyes on Tiller, who is, in all fairness, Sergio, on the cusp of, potentially getting a top 4, maybe top 3 finish, depending if CB46 has a disaster. But right now, again, he's been one of the clean drivers. Bobby Leon's Chissy, Tiller, Dirty Hippo, and Louise McCallion, the only drivers tonight that haven't taken a single penalty. That's impressive on Monaco, isn't it, Sergio?
Yeah, well, just looking at obviously the amount of people that do have penalties, and looking at how many penalties have been given out as well across the entire board, it's pretty impressive to survive this long and not have any penalties or even contact. So yeah, very, very well done to those drivers.
And you would hope as well for some of these guys that are going to go into Season 5 in the later portion of June that we do see those kind of, I think that kind of chemistry within teams carry on as well. Like, for example, I feel like we need to see Tiller and Shadow's going to return again. They need to put this season behind them. They got to get back to that kind of dominance they had over Ferrari last season. I would love to see Chissy and Jamsey continue. I think the big question mark is who the hell is going to... Everyone is going to be queuing up front and centre to team with this Bobby Leon's kid. Same with CB46, in fairness. Wonder if maybe those two in CB46 and Keiran retain as well, since they're going to obviously win the championship together here tonight, with all things said and done. For now, though, 5 laps to go. Bobby Leon's an absolute light year ahead, and tonight it will be VRL Keiran who's probably sending a fruit basket and some cigars to Bobby Leon's house for aiding and assisting a Season 4 championship over the line. He didn't even need to cross the finish line tonight because Bobby Leon's has been so dominant. And again, VRL Keiran, never ever, he's won races before, but he's never won the overall championship. He joins this elite list of drivers from the Chissys to the Com45s to the Batistutas to so many of these great drivers of the past that have been consistent and got it done. He is in that list. He's in that criteria as well. Kemura as well saying Jamsey's done well with the pens that he's got going on. He's also been going long on the hards. He has, in fairness, but it doesn't mean too much as Dino has also now joined the death pile, and there's slowing down here, and it looks like a safety car could be coming here.
It's out. It's on circuit.
Okay. Well, Dino causing a little bit of drama. Now, you see Chissy there pitting. He's gone onto soft. So we in for a blockbuster finale here, Sergio?
Potentially a 2021 finale as well. We've got Bobby Leon's on hards at the minute. Question is, what does he do? Does he come in? He has a free pit stop. So, to me, the sensible thing is do the same as what Chizzy's done.
Match
Go in,
Chizzy's,
softs on, come back out, and you're still going to be, 20 seconds in the clear. The main thing is just keeping the pace down. So let's just see what happens here. He's turned hard. Yeah, he's going into the pits. So the pit stop is on for Bobby. We could see a 2021 shootout because there is a chance that the safety car will hold and wait until the pack has fully closed up. And then it will come down to a last gasp hurrah from all these drivers. But
he's got on mediums. Comms on that one.
Okay. Interesting. I wouldn't have gone for mediums if it's me. You've got 4 laps to go. Soft will run. But the confidence might be there in the mediums. He's raced majority of this race on that tyre set, no doubt, and he's probably got that confidence there to do that. The only question now will be whether the safety car waits for the pack to bunch up or if it just lets them go after a period of time once the debris is cleared. Because the F1 game has a notorious decision system where it likes to just do whatever it wants. So sometimes it will wait, other times it won't even bother. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens here, and interesting to see if the lapped cars will be waved around as well, because Blazer Guns is actually right behind our leader, and I don't know if he's getting the wave around or not. If he doesn't, we really do have a 2021 finish on our hands, because the lapped cars will be blocking Chissy from Bobby. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens.
Tell you this much right now, love to be a fly in VRL Keiran's bedroom, living room, wherever he is, because he is praying that the safety car just goes in and we just carry on here. He needs that to happen, because already Chissy has gone from being 50 seconds behind to 33 seconds behind. If this gets to a point where the safety car here waits for these two to be touch tight, dear Jesus Christ, VRL Keiran is going to be absolutely mortified at what could be about to happen. HD as well saying, wanted points, don't think the game wanted me to get points. 10 seconds from Ghosted, cutting the chicane and me avoiding it, and then damage from Shadow doing I don't know what. So, well, I'll tell you this much, HD, you may have just set up one of the moments of the season if everything goes the way we want it to go. I mean, Sergio, we're still seeing the safety car out there. Are you feeling like there's an indication that we're going to wait to have these cars tight together to restart it?
I think so, but I don't know if that's going to make enough of a difference, because the lapped cars are not being told to overtake the safety car. They're not unlapping themselves as it stands at the moment, which is interesting, because they are going to form a massive blockade between Bobby and Chissy, which could be the deciding factor in this championship fight. Obviously, Bobby not being a part of the championship fight, nevertheless having a massive say in it, and now all those lap cars between him and Chissy will also have just as big of a say in it, because you're pretty much looking at the entire grid between the two vehicles. Just having a look now, yeah, Chissy is pretty much at the back of the pack. He's only got Jamsey and Tism behind him. Oh, and Lisp and Blazer Guns. So those four cars. Everyone else above, so from P3 to P8, they are all in between the front two runners.
Well, certainly getting a 10-second time penalty for ignoring the yellow flag. But this is where, if you're VRL Keiran, you're praying that somebody can do you a favour, because it's just gotten very nervy. And the safety car is in this lap. Are we going to see one of the most crazy nightmare fuel finishes of a VFL F1 season? Chissy needs to finish first and he will win the championship by one singular point. It is out of VRL Keiran's hands. It all comes down to these last two laps. Here we go. 3 seconds. Of course, Chissy on softs, Bobby Leon's on mediums. If there's ever been a time, Sergio, for Chissy to remind us who he is as a driver, as a racer, it's now.
Yeah, it certainly is, and he's overtaken one car already, because they've ghosted. I'm just looking at the cars ahead of him. I think all the lapped cars are actually ghosting, so he can just drive straight through all of them. So actually, they're not going to pose any threat at all. He is closing down on our leader now, and he hasn't got much time to do it. But nevertheless, he doesn't need to worry about cars in front of him or behind him, because there is no concern. They're all ghosted.
I will say that the slight concern, though, I don't know if you've been watching Chissy just then, a couple of times he's bounced that front left off the boards, though. Is that going to be maybe a bit of a concern as a disqualification, as he's been parked at a dangerous location, as man's got Tism? His night ends in sheer stupidity. Such a great start, but ultimately his season ends with a disqualification. For now, 4.6 seconds is locked in. Bobby Leon's is looking like he's still going to be able to do it here tonight. He is completely clean ahead, and Chissy has struggled on these kind of tight and treacherous turns so far, Sergio.
Yeah, I think Bobby's just managing to open those up a little more than what Chissy is, and I think he's, 5 seconds in the course of one lap, and we're almost halfway through lap one already in terms of where the leader is. So I think this is a done deal, but this is even more nail-bitingly close. So I think it's going to hurt even more for Chissy, unfortunately. But it's been a hell of a race, and I tell you what, if they would have got a little closer, or if there was a few less back markers between the two, this could well have been a side-by-side across the line.
I'll tell you this much. Tonight, VRL Keiran, wherever he is in the world, has just let out one big sigh of relief here, because that safety car, anything could have happened. And as of now, 39 laps down, with this one about to be set, Bobby Leons is going to win this tonight, and that does mean that VRL Keiran is going to, by the skin of it... it's not going to be enough. He's taken a 3-second penalty, but it's not going to be enough. 6.8 seconds, Chissy's behind the Bobby's taken a 3-second penalty, so it still will not be anything. Oh, and he's won it. Well, I mean, that's... Talk about even more heartbreaking, Sergio. A 3-second penalty at the end just made everyone go, whoa, hang on a minute, but it's not going to be enough, and ultimately, as we said, Bobby Leons wins this one today, and VRL Keiran is confirmed our Season 4 champion. And of course, it does look like as well, it depends on what the point differential is. Remember, 5 points ahead with the Aston Martin and the Team Constructors tonight. They finish third, the Red Bull finish second. I'm unsure what the differential is, but from what I think, it does mean that the Aston Martin also just narrowly gets this one over the line. Jamsey celebrating as well and saying points woo. The fact that he got points is quite harrowing. Congratulations to you. I don't know what shoe I'll be eating, but I owe you an apology. I had no belief in you, but what can you say? Listen, it was a bit of a chaotic one. Always is in Monaco, but I think also exacerbated by the fact that it was the final race of the season. If you're VRL Keiran, you're happy, you're pumped, but you know it was way too close for comfort. Ultimately, though, he joins that list of champions. He joins that kind of hall of winners. And I think Chissy tonight will be absolutely devastated, considering how close it was to being one of the greatest comebacks in racing history. For Bobby Leons, I mean, where do you even start with that kid? A real danger going into Season 5. He will be one to watch. Ultimately, though, a season which ends in chaos in Monaco, Sergio, but a season when we will remember VRL Keiran as our winner.
Yeah, fantastic season overall, and a quality performance, not only from him, but the chase from Chissy as well. All of it has been absolutely fantastic, all the way till the final whistle.
There you go, and of course, like I said, keep your eyes out for Michael's announcement. Season 4 is done, and Season 5 is not too far away. The provisional date for race 1 of Season 5, the 22nd of June. So enjoy that update when it comes out on Wednesday. Get used to the cars and so forth, but again, it's not too much of a big break, so don't feel like we're gone now for the next month or 2 months. Be ready, because Season 5, it's just going to get more and more tense. And for VRL Keiran, you've won the title. Now the question mark is, can you defend the title? That's always the mark of a great champion. There you go. Thank you as well to Henry for the follow. So, yeah, appreciate you. I want odds on Bobby Leons Season 5 champion. I mean, if you're basing it off of that, they won't be too high. Let me tell you that much. They'll be... I wouldn't say evens, but close enough to it. Listen, from all of us, though, it's been a phenomenal season. I imagine Aston Martin have just about pipped, unless Jamsey finishing in the points has helped them. But I do think still, just by a slim margin, the Aston Martin have won the Team Constructors. We'll wait for confirmation there. But ultimately, the last 8 weeks, fantastic. Good progression, good development, some dangerous tracks, some... Love them, hate them, Marmite S tracks, but ultimately it is an Aston Martin win. It is a VRL Keiran win, and that is Season 4 in the books. I want to thank every single driver, from whether you're a top-end racer or just a guy that shows up every week and finishes outside the points, but you just love the organisation, you just love the race. We love that from you. We wish we could have more of you. And hopefully we get to see more drivers on the grid next season with that grid expansion, but ultimately... we'll wait on Michael's call there. A big thank you, of course, to none other than the legend himself, Sergio, always with the analysis and the deep thinking and the deep dive into the tracks. Hopefully he'll be back with us in Season 5. We get a couple of weeks off now, and then we'll be right there for it. Don't forget, of course, if you want to submit anything, if you're petty or principal, whatever you kind of refer to it as, and you want to kind of report anyone for any incidents tonight, submit it into Michael's channel. Any issues there and any penalties there will be handed over, and people will start with bans or penalties next season. So if you were a bit of a cock tonight, brace yourself, because it may not be done and dusted just yet. Sergio, any final words from you before we close off here?
Just, again, thanks to obviously yourself and Michael for putting on a fantastic show week in, week out, and thanks to all the drivers that turn up week in, week out as well. I look forward to more seasons of great racing like we've had today.
Absolutely. Well, great racing, maybe not, but entertainment in this one in Monaco, absolutely. Of course, for now, though, you take care. Everyone take care, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks for Season 5. And enjoy that update. Let us know if you spot any bugs or issues when it comes out on Wednesday. For now, though, it's been me, it's been Sergio, it's been the VFL F1 League for a 4th season in a row. We will see you for Season 5 in about 2 weeks' time. Take care, take it easy, and congratulations again, your Season 4 champion. How good does that sound? VRL Keiran and the Aston Martin team. Congratulations to those two. A big well done. Good night. We're out.